Good morning, friends. Today I want to show you how do you drain your pressure tank to see how much air is actually in it. So I'm going to show you real quick. It's super easy. Any homeowner can do it. It's just like when you're flushing out a water heater. It's really not that hard. So let's get into it and let's talk about it. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to make sure we do is we hook a hose up to this pressure tank, right? So by doing so, we're able to actually empty everything, and we're going to want to make sure we take off the cap to the Schrader valve. Now, we've looked at the cap to the pressure switch, and we've seen that this is actually a 40-60 switch. So what we should see is that the pump cycles on at 40 PSI, right? And then the pump cycles off at 60 PSI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our stopwatch, and we're gonna go ahead, open this up until we hear the pump cycle on, and then we're gonna start our stopwatch to see how fast it fills. All right, so we've gone a little bit below 40. So let's see if maybe this is a 30-50 switch. All right, so we can see that it cycled on at around 36. So we're gonna let that run for a few minutes. While that's running, we have the stopwatch started. Like I said before, we wanna see that this thing runs for hopefully a minute before it cuts off. Now we'll see that the pressure is building and it's going all the way up. And after this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually check the air pressure inside of the tank. Now, I usually recommend do this every couple of years just to make sure everything's still working and doing what it's supposed to do. All right, so we're getting closer to 60, so we'll see if it cuts off correctly. All right, cool. So we're right around 35 seconds to get that to cut on or cut off. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna open this all the way up, and then we're gonna go ahead, turn the water to the house off, and we're gonna flip the power off. Now, the reason we want to turn the water off to the house and turn off the power is so that way we can actually have this whole thing drain down. And once it drains down, the next step is we're going to take a regular old tire pressure gauge, just like this. All right, so we heard it click on again. And then we're going to actually attach the pressure gauge up here once it's empty. How you'll know it's empty is you'll hear it kind of gurgle for a second, and then the pressure will drop to 0. So I'm gonna let this empty and I'll see you in a second. All right, so we're at 0 PSI, right? And so now we're gonna go ahead and check the air pressure. Inside of here, we should see at least 38 PSI, and we can see it's a little bit fuzzy. So we can get that to clear up a bit. We're right at 30 PSI. So we're 8 PSI short, but this tank is from 2019. 2019 is not necessarily an issue, but these tanks, generally you're gonna lose 1 to 2 PSI per year. So that's why it's important to know how to actually empty this thing so that we can top it up. So we know that we're 8 pounds short. So what do you do about that, right? No big deal. You drain it just like we just did, and then you hook up a compressor to that Schrader valve or a bicycle pump, whatever you have, and then you just fill it up to 38 PSI. Now you might be asking, why is that important? It's important because that pump's gonna get to 60 PSI regardless of how much air is inside of there. If you don't have enough air, that bladder's gonna overexpand because again, that pump's gonna get to 60 PSI, and over the course of many years, you're gonna shorten the lifespan of that tank. It's an easy maintenance task that any homeowner can do. I usually recommend anytime that you drain your water heater, you should also drain the pressure tank, just that way you can make sure that that's topped up and good to go, working at the correct pressure, and making sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to do. I hope that you found this informative. If you gained any value from this, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I have more videos posted every day on the world of well and septic. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.